This is the dream, a beautiful 10-acre farm, already paddocked, lush green grass, a beautiful horse barn on site, ready for my favorite luxury animal. And this is our reality. 2020 really did some crazy things to land prices, and what we wanted and what we were able to get were definitely two different things. But we are still chasing the dream, and we are going to make it happen. So instead of being able to get something that was already established, that was already cleared, that had already been maintained, we obtained 5 acres of raw, untouched land. Thick forest, never ventured before. So the first question that we had to ask ourselves was, what do we do now? How do we clear all of this so that we can turn it into our 5-acre farm? Hey y'all, this is Shannon with a 5-acre farm. It is a hot and muggy day here in Central Florida. So if I look a little extra glittery, it's just sweat. Today, we're gonna be talking about land clearing, and we will be talking about the different types. We will be talking about the type that we chose, and I will be going over some pros and cons to the type that we chose specifically for our purposes and our needs. I had to run off and find me a nice spot in the shade. All right, so there are 4 types of land clearing that I'm going to mention and talk about today. The first type of land clearing that I am going to talk about today is bulldozing. So everybody knows what bulldozing is, and there is actually one person that is my favorite person to watch on YouTube when it comes to bulldozing. This is Hank with Hamiltonville Farm, and he has a great playlist dedicated to just bulldozing, clearing land, taking down trees. I'll leave that link to that in the description. And for now, I'm just gonna let you watch him do what he does for a minute. The second type of land clearing that I'm going to talk about today is controlled burn, or what some people refer to as prescribed burning. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about it, because I'm pretty sure if I tried it, I would set this whole world on fire, but it is mesmerizing to watch. And I'm just going to share some clips from Daniel over at Arms Family Homestead. He has some amazing footage while he uses controlled burn to help maintain his property, and he's got some great videos on how to do it, the way he does it, tips and tricks, pros and cons, and all of those things. But I'm going to go ahead and let you watch that for a minute.
This is by far the most fun controlled burn I do every year. Get out at the bottom of the pond dam and let it burn up the hill. You talk about burning fast. Check that out. That is awesome. Woo! It's getting warm too. Check it out.
Okay, the third type of land clearing that I'm going to mention very briefly is hand clearing. Hand clearing is exactly what it sounds like, where you use your hands, chainsaws, all of that stuff. We plan on using hand clearing as our second stage of clearing our land, but we have tried our hand a little bit at clearing a few trees out. It starts here. And then I will drop the link here to that if you want to watch that, and I'll also place that in the description below. The next, the last, the fourth. The fourth method of land clearing that we're going to discuss today is the method that we chose to clear our property, and that is forestry mulching. Now, forestry mulching is also exactly what it sounds like. It's where they come in with a mulcher and they mulch down everything on your property 4 inches or less. But instead of taking away from the property by bulldozing, we really wanted to choose something that gave back to the land. So some benefits of the forestry mulching are that it covers the land and it protects it. It covers the land and helps it to retain moisture because it's very hot and it's very dry a lot of the time. As it breaks down, it feeds and creates nutrients and habitat for microbiomes, and it literally creates soil.
Okay, now keep in mind that this would be sand if we bulldozed it. Look at this. This is pure soil. This is beautiful, beautiful stuff. Beautiful. And it is all rich. It's all rich. Look at this. I mean, I don't even know how far I would have to dig. I would need a tool to dig, but it's gorgeous. Look at this. Look at that. This is why we chose forestry mulching.
That was all new soil. I'm going to show you some footage right now. This footage right here is of the property that literally touches the back of our property. This is a property that was bulldozed almost 2 years ago, and it was sterilized in the process. Now, if you're wanting to start from scratch and you're needing to, have a clean slate, then bulldozing probably makes sense for you. But we want to farm. We want to have fodder for animals. We want to grow things, and we didn't want to have to wait years for that to happen. So the cool thing that happened when we did the forestry mulching is there was this seed bank that was just waiting in the soil to grow. And we didn't know what this particular plant was, so we sent it off to the local county extension, and they came back and they said that it was huckleberry, which is really cool. We literally have 5 acres of 2 different types of huckleberry and new oak growth. There's a little bit of palmetto that's trying to come back in, and I've noticed that there's a few bramble that are trying to come back in. I'm just gonna go out there with a shovel and get them because honestly, it's not that much. It's mostly 2 different types of huckleberry and oak, and that is amazing free food for our farm animals. So I'm super stoked. I'm so excited.
One thing that I do regret is not getting enough footage of the forestry mulcher when he was at work on the ground. But there was a lot of things going on and it just didn't seem safe, so I kept my distance and got some aerial footage. If you look really close right here, you'll see the forestry mulcher at work. It was really neat to see how that machine just shredded the brush and it shredded the small trees and it turned it into the mulch that is now decaying and turning into soil. And if you look at this property to the left, that's the property I was speaking of earlier that was bulldozed and has pretty much been sterilized. This is an aerial photo after he had cut down the middle of the property to find the back line. And this is a beautiful photo after he was about halfway through that I took to show the mulching.
So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope that it gave you some good insight on the different types of land clearing that you can choose for your property. I hope that I'm able to provide some good resources for you, and if you have any questions, you can comment below, and as always, I hope you guys are having a very blessed day. Thanks. Bye. Gosh, I'm melting. I'm melting. I'm melting.